Relentless, probing, fearless. This is Emmy Award-winning Full Disclosure with Leslie Dutton. Full Disclosure is known as the news behind the news. Our interviews and programs include civic leaders, experts, and others at the federal, state, and local levels. Full Disclosure interviews are extensive. Interviewees are candid in a way not possible on mainstream media. We began with LAPD officials and implementation of the Christopher Commission reforms in light of the Rodney King incident. During the interviews, it became apparent that politics was infiltrating police operations and tactics. One way this manifested itself was to cause confusion regarding the appropriate use of force.
Every day that we're told that we cannot pursue in a vehicle, that we cannot pursue on foot, that we cannot shoot, that we cannot use a baton to hit, that we cannot use a flashlight to hit. Those are things that make it more dangerous.
You can't use a chokehold. They've elevated it to deadly force. And at that time, I and other staff members of the department warned them that you have taken away a valuable tool and that the next step for officers was going to be baton.
Is there a reluctance of the officers to step forward to protect people because of the concern about possibly being involved in misuse?
I'm not aware of a situation where officers were reluctant to step forward to protect anyone, including themselves. I am aware, for example, that there's yet less use of the baton, the PR-24, in the aftermath of the King incident.
If you keep beating down the true public protectors, eventually all you're going to have is a bunch of hirelings.
When voters approved Charter Proposition F, the LAPD chief became a political appointee. While sitting on the police union board, retired LAPD Captain Ken Hillman told Full Disclosure how politics impacted police policy.
You had two Democratic candidates, that both had a strong labor background, and that was the deciding factor because I was there when we interviewed both candidates to see who we were going to support. And when Hahn said he would give us 312, that sealed the deal. It was a close toss-up with that union at that time, which candidate they were going to back. So they got fully behind Jim Hahn, and he, of course, won. And then first thing he did is, after he had removed Parks, he then got in Bratton, and Bratton said they're going to get the 312.
In 2006, Full Disclosure covered Chief Bill Bratton and Mayor Antonio Villaraigosa as they celebrated lower violent crime statistics. Skeptics at the time grumbled that it was nothing more than a political dog and pony show. Now, 8 years later, LAPD Chief Charlie Beck publicly contradicted his department's own statistics, and he decried the rise in violence. Full Disclosure has a library of unique and insightful interviews with all the Los Angeles police chiefs, from Ed Davis to Bill Bratton, county sheriffs including LA's Sherman Block and Leroy Baca, as well as Orange County's Mike Corona and Joe Arpaio of Arizona. In addition to law enforcement, Full Disclosure has focused on corruption in public education, including the ill-fated Belmont, the world's most expensive high school, and the recall of the entire Capistrano Unified School Board. And most recently, Full Disclosure shined a light on corrupted justice, publicizing the battle between a public interest law firm and Los Angeles County over illegal double benefits being paid to LA County Superior Court judges. One facet of the library features historical law enforcement figures and includes a special series and forum, The Prosecutor and the Presidency. The series features all the U.S. Attorneys General and independent and special prosecutors who were involved in presidential investigations from Watergate to Whitewater and beyond. The Full Disclosure television program was created to encourage public awareness regarding public safety, government corruption, and accountability. Full Disclosure has won an Emmy for its public affairs series, LA's War Against Terrorism. And we've received a second nomination for coverage of the prosecution of Orange County Sheriff Mike Corona. This extensive Full Disclosure library is not available from the mainstream media. This content is unique because of the candor with which the interviewees and Full Disclosure approach the issues.
I have a lot of problems with 3 strikes. We've all seen and heard too many horror stories where people who don't need to go to jail for the rest of their lives are going at a significant cost to the rest of society. No, I'd rather basically take each case on its own merits, put good judges in who are trained and who are supervised and who are overseen to make appropriate decisions.
Well, he is wrong, in my opinion, with all due respect. The fact of the matter is, I remember when then District Attorney Gil Garcetti came to Sacramento and opposed the three strikes measure in committee, did not support it when we were trying to pass it in Sacramento for many of the alleged same reasons. Well, it's not going to work, it won't be effective. And then when it actually took effect, after 2 or 3 years of operation, and we saw the crime rate in Los Angeles drop dramatically, he changed his mind, as did most of the district attorneys in the state.
Full Disclosure's assets include more than 900 interviews and never-before-released footage, and will eventually be used in documentary film productions and research. The Full Disclosure Network needs your support to preserve the archives, which contain exclusive interviews with government officials, newsmakers, and citizens recorded over the past 2 decades. Funding is urgently needed to complete the Full Disclosure Network Digital Asset Management System project, so we can more efficiently use this historically relevant video content to create better public awareness on the need to restore government accountability and responsibility. We invite you to become a charter member of the Full Disclosure Network Media Preservation Project. Please call our headquarters for more information at 310-822-4449 or simply make a tax-deductible contribution on our website below. Help us continue to bring the public the news behind the news.